The purpose of this video will be to show you how to figure out how to use Google Sheets to graph data. So I'm going to use Google Sheets to graph my data quickly and easily and efficiently. So I need to start off on Google Drive. I'm going to go ahead and go plus new, and I'm going to click on Google Sheets. And this is going to go ahead and bring up a spreadsheet. So I'm going to title it, because this is good practice. I'm going to title it Cellular Respiration Lab. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is get my data in here. So whatever is going to go on the x-axis, so the horizontal axis is going to go in column A, and I'm going to give it a header. So in this case, it's going to be time, because I know I did this over time. So anytime you have time, it's always going to be in this first column. So I'm going to go ahead and go time, and I know I took data at 0 minutes, at 15 minutes, and at 30 minutes. I'm just going to put in numbers, because if I put in anything else, when I'm graphing, Google Sheets will get really confused. So it just wants to be looking at numbers when you graph. So I'm not going to say minutes or anything like that. If I wanted to say minutes, I would do it up here where it says time, and I would say in minutes. So I had two different test tubes. My first test tube did not have any, so it had no sugar. So yeast with no sugar. So I'm going to go ahead and label that. And then my second test tube is yeast with sugar. All right, and if you want to make this bigger so everything fits because you like it to look nice, you can just kind of open it up like this. So I have two options for what I can graph. I could graph the circumference of the balloon in centimeters, or I could graph the height of the foam. So I'm going to go ahead and graph the height of the foam. So I know at time 0, my data said that it was 0 centimeters tall. And then my data said I had 2 centimeters of foam at time 15 and 2 at time 30. And then when I look at my data for yeast with sugar, my numbers for foam were 0 centimeters at time 0, and then 7 centimeters at time 15, and 8 centimeters at time 30. Notice again, I'm just putting numbers in here. Again, I can't put centimeters because it's gonna make my program get really confused. So next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to highlight what I want to graph. So I want to graph everything here. So I'm going to go from time all the way to 8. And then I can look for two things. I can look for the little graph icon that says insert chart, or I can go ahead and say insert chart. So I'm going to insert a chart, and voila, I have my graph. So I've got a title, I've got my yeast with sugar, I have my yeast with no sugar, I can see time. The one thing I'm missing here is, what are these numbers over here representing? So I can go to customize, and I can say chart title and axis. If I want to change my chart title, I can click here and I can change it. So I'm going to say amount of foam created in yeast with no sugar and sugar. So it's going to go ahead and automatically do that. And I also want to add my vertical axis. So my vertical axis I know is height of foam. And again, I should put my units in, so in centimeters. So right away, it's going to go ahead and do that. If I ever need to change anything, I click on it. I can go edit chart, and I can change it into a different type of graph, bar graph, things like that. With time, it's best to have a line graph. And I can also customize it. I can change my background color and all sorts of things, so I can get fancy. I'm just going to leave it as is. And if I want to take this somewhere, I'm just going to go ahead and say copy chart, and then it goes to my clipboard and I can paste it in. That is how you're going to create a graph with Google Sheets using your data.